Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Koala English Podcast. I'm Anthony. Today, we're talking about a topic that affects us all: how we get around in the city, whether by public transport or driving.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha. Your choice of transport can really shape your daily routine, your budget, and even your mood.
Some people love the freedom of driving, while others prefer relaxing on a train or bus instead of sitting in traffic.
In this episode, we'll explore the advantages and disadvantages of both public transportation and driving using practical, real-life English.
We'll also share useful vocabulary and phrases for commuting, traffic, and daily travel with explanations and examples you can use.
Plus, we'll include cultural tips from English-speaking countries so you can understand how people usually travel and talk about it.
Before we begin, if you enjoy this podcast, click the like button. It really helps us.
And if you're new here, welcome! Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future episodes on real-life English.
All right, let's get started and see which one wins: public transport or driving. Let's start with a key term: urban mobility. Can you repeat that?
Urban mobility.
Urban mobility refers to how people move around in cities, including walking, cycling, buses, trains, cars, or even scooters and ride-sharing. It's a term often used in city planning, transport reports, and news.
For example, you can say, urban mobility is improving thanks to new bike lanes and better bus services. Or, cities with poor urban mobility often face more traffic congestion and pollution.
Next, a phrase you'll hear in news reports: service disruption.
Service disruption.
This happens when public transport doesn't run normally. Buses or trains may be delayed, canceled, or off schedule due to accidents, bad weather, or technical issues.
Examples: there was a service disruption on the metro line this morning because of heavy rain. Or, passengers were frustrated after the service disruption lasted more than 2 hours.
Now the word overcrowded.
Overcrowded.
Overcrowded describes a place with too many people for the space available. It can feel stressful, noisy, or uncomfortable, like buses or trains during rush hour.
Examples: the train was so overcrowded that I couldn't even find a seat. Or, overcrowded shopping malls make social distancing difficult.
Let's talk about money. Fare hike.
Fare hike.
A fare hike is an increase in ticket prices for public transport. Fare is the ticket cost, and hike is a noticeable rise.
For example, there will be a fare hike next month, so commuting will cost more. Or, many students complained about the sudden fare hike on the bus.
Next, a common traffic phrase: road congestion.
Road congestion.
Road congestion means too many vehicles on the same road, slowing traffic or causing jams. Big cities often experience this during rush hours.
Examples: Road congestion is worst during the morning and evening rush hours, or building new roads alone cannot solve road congestion in big cities.
Now a term about cars. Fuel efficient.
Fuel efficient.
A fuel-efficient vehicle uses less fuel for the same distance. People choose these cars to save money and reduce pollution.
Examples: hybrid cars are more fuel efficient than regular petrol cars, or choosing a fuel efficient vehicle helps reduce your carbon footprint.
An environmentally friendly habit, carpooling.
Carpooling.
Carpooling is sharing a car with people going the same way. It saves money, reduces traffic, and helps the environment.
Examples: we started carpooling to save money on fuel and reduce traffic. Or, carpooling can also be a fun way to chat with colleagues during the commute.
Environmental language, carbon emissions.
Carbon emissions.
These are gases released from vehicles, factories, or power stations that contribute to pollution and climate change.
Examples: taking the train instead of driving helps reduce carbon emissions, or many governments are encouraging electric cars to lower carbon emissions.
A useful linking phrase, that being said.
That being said.
It introduces a contrasting idea after a point you've made, like but or however.
Examples: public transport is cheap. That being said, it can be uncomfortable during rush hours. Or, I like driving my car. That being said, traffic jams are very frustrating.
A very useful expression, it's a trade-off between and. It means you gain one thing but lose another. Common for transport, work, or lifestyle choices.
Examples: driving is faster, but the trade-off is higher fuel costs. Or, taking the train is cheaper, but the trade-off is that it takes longer.
Another phrase, it comes down to personal preference.
It comes down to personal preference.
This means the final choice depends on what someone likes or feels comfortable with.
Examples: some people prefer driving, others like the train. It comes down to personal preference. Or, choosing a hybrid or electric car really comes down to personal preference.
Finally, a natural phrase, it's not worth the hassle.
It's not worth the hassle.
It means something causes too much trouble compared to the benefit.
Examples: driving in the city isn't worth the hassle anymore. Or, waiting in line for an hour isn't worth the hassle. I'll come back later.
I remember one morning when the train was so overcrowded that I couldn't even get a seat. I was frustrated, but I stayed calm and found a spot near the door.
Yes, public transport can be challenging, but taking it regularly improves urban mobility and saves money compared to driving.
Once there was a service disruption on my usual bus line. I was late for work, but I used the time to read an article. It turned out productive.
That's a good point. The choice depends on what someone likes. Some people drive, some take the train, but small adjustments make commuting less stressful.
I started carpooling a few days a week. The ride is fun and reduces carbon emissions.
That being said, sometimes driving is faster or more comfortable. It really is a trade-off between convenience and environmental benefits.
I agree. I noticed a fare hike on the subway last month. At first, I was annoyed, but I realized the funds go to improve infrastructure.
Absolutely. Even when commuting isn't perfect, it's not worth the hassle to get upset. Planning ahead and staying flexible makes travel easier.
Before we hear the full dialogue, let's introduce the characters and where they are.
Right. In Dialogue 1, we have two colleagues chatting during their morning commute, Alex and Mia.
Wow, this train is so overcrowded today. I can barely get on.
I know. I'm fed up with standing all the way to the office.
I thought about driving, but the road congestion downtown is terrible at this time.
That being said, taking the subway is still faster than sitting in traffic.
Oh no, I just heard there's a service disruption on our usual line today.
Yes, and there's also a fare hike next month. Public transport isn't getting any cheaper.
Yeah, I guess it's a trade-off between saving money and comfort.
Exactly. It really comes down to personal preference. Some people like driving, others prefer the train.
I started carpooling a few days a week. It's fun, and it helps reduce carbon emissions.
Absolutely. Driving a fuel-efficient car or carpooling makes a big difference for the environment.
And using public transport regularly improves urban mobility for everyone in the city.
At least it's not worth the hassle to get upset over small delays. Staying flexible makes commuting easier.
Before we hear the dialogue, let's introduce the characters.
Right. In Dialogue 2, two friends, Jason and Emily, are discussing their daily commute, whether to drive or take public transport.
They're meeting at a cafe near the train station, perfect for practicing opinions and all 12 transport phrases from today's lesson.
Yes, listening carefully, you'll notice how natural English uses words like overcrowded, carpooling, and road congestion.
Hey, Emily, I'm thinking about driving to work tomorrow instead of taking the subway. What do you think?
I usually prefer the train. It avoids road congestion and I can relax a bit before work.
Yeah, but with the overcrowded trains lately, it feels stressful. I'm fed up with standing all the way.
That being said, driving in the city isn't always better. You might waste time stuck in traffic, and even fuel-efficient cars aren't always enough to save money.
Right. It's a trade-off between comfort and cost. Driving is faster sometimes, but gas and parking fees add up.
Exactly. The choice really depends on what someone likes. Some days I want convenience, other days I prefer to save money and avoid stress.
I've considered carpooling with my colleague. It reduces carbon emissions, saves money, and can even be fun.
Absolutely. And if there's no service disruption or fare hike, public transport can still be efficient.
Using public transport regularly also improves urban mobility in the city.
At the end of the day, some days driving is worth it, but other days it's not worth the hassle.
Exactly. The key is planning ahead and finding what works best for your daily routine.
Now that we've seen Alex, Mia, Jason, and Emily using these words and phrases naturally, let's review them together.
We learned urban mobility, service disruption, overcrowded, fare hike, road congestion, fuel efficient, carpooling, carbon emissions. That being said, it's a trade-off between and. It comes down to personal preference, and it's not worth the hassle.
Expressions like trade-off or that being said help you sound natural when giving opinions about commuting.
Small phrases like fed up with or not worth the hassle let you share your feelings about daily travel.
Mentioning carpooling, fuel-efficient cars, or carbon emissions adds an environmentally aware perspective.
Practicing these words and phrases regularly makes them easier to remember and use naturally in conversations.
In the UK, Australia, and Canada, people often discuss commuting politely. Even if trains are overcrowded or there's road congestion, you might hear, "It's not ideal, but that's city life." Thanks for listening. We're glad you're learning English with us.
We hope today helps you talk about commuting and daily transport confidently on trains, buses, or in cars.
Share your commuting stories or experiences with crowded trains, carpooling, or traffic in the comments. We love hearing from you.
Keep practicing, keep observing, and remember, English improves when you use it in real-life situations.
See you next time on the Koala English Podcast. Enjoy your commute, stay environmentally aware, and happy learning.